I will come back again to another video lecture on C# programming, and in this video lecture we'll go ahead and look at inheritance. Inheritance is a property of C# programming because C# is an object-oriented programming language. Therefore, in every object-oriented programming language, you must always hear the word inheritance, and it must always come. And how can you deal with inheritance, and what is inheritance all about? Just the same way you inherit the property of your father or your mother, in the same way classes in C# can be able to inherit the property of each other. You can inherit the property of A, B can inherit the property of C can inherit the property of anyone they want. And how can we do that? Let's say we have these two parent classes. So maybe you have this two parent class of class A. Alright, so let A be a public class. Okay, so you can say A is a public class. And go ahead, all classes can be public. Or even this class program can also be a public class, so don't be scared. So let's have a class A public class, and then we go ahead and create another parent class of public. Remember that anything public can be accessed by anything around. So another class, public class B. So we have these two classes, and all these things are public parent classes. So a child class is a class that is inside another class, but these classes are outside each other. That means they are parent classes, and B wants to acquire the property of A. How can he do that? Let's say that A has a property of, let's say, private int number equal to 50 and plus semicolon. It should be very hard for B to acquire this property because this property is a private property. So a property that is private is always very difficult. Let's say let's go to B and create a method and call that method to be public int my num. And then we want to acquire the property of A. If you go ahead and return, because this method is not void, so it's returning something, and it's going to return this dot number plus semicolon. Now you can see that we have an error right here. The number is underlined because it's trying to acquire a property that is a private property, and you don't have access to any private property. So class A cannot acquire the property of B when it is private, and B cannot acquire the property of A when it is private. The only property it can acquire, if you are a parent class, is a public class. It is only a child class that can acquire the property that is private. So let's go ahead and change this property to be public. And once it is public, check it out. This arrow is gone right now, and this arrow, it is still here. Now, want to tell A, we want to acquire its property, go ahead and put colon A. And once you put colon A, you can see that this arrow is gone. So even when you put that to be private back, it will go ahead and give you an error. Can you see that? An error is this. Change that to public again. And the error is gone. Because it is now a public property and it can be acquired by either the parent class or the child class. I will still teach you about child class in the next lecture. We will be talking about multiple inheritance, so we can be able to see how to inherit from multiple classes. Now, if I want to print out the value of 50 and we want to assign that to B, the property of B, how can we do that? Because B has acquired this property right here, and it has the right to acquire a public property. Now go right inside the main method and say that B, and you put that to be BB is equal to new B. Alright, so the class B equal to new B and press semicolon end. Now BB dot let's say bb dot my norm. Sorry. bb dot my norm apply semicolon, so we have to call the method my norm right here, so that whenever we call this, you go ahead and give us whatever it has. Alright, so that is bb dot my norm is a method. Go ahead and put open and close parentheses, and the error will be done. Now I want to go ahead and print out the property of b, which is inherited property from a. So console dot write line, and let's go ahead and say the value of b is, so the value of b is parentheses 0, close that, bring comma, and call bb dot my norm. Go ahead and place semicolon at the end, and then let's keep this to be steady. Console dot read key, console dot read key. Go ahead and place semicolon at the end. Now let's go ahead and run this code, and you have to get 50 as an output because b has inherited the property of a, and it has a right to give out outputs to be 50. So you can see the value of b is 50 because b has inherited this property called number right here, and therefore it has the value 50 assigned to it because it has inherited the property of a. So in this way you can inherit the property of one class into another, and I hope that is very easy. Please, I know as a beginner in C# programming, this might look so tedious, or you may not understand what is going on. But the fact is that as you move on into the lecture, you're going to see more of that and understand what is really going on. And the more you practice with this, you'll be able to learn more on that. So in the next lecture, I'll show you how a class, a child class, accepts or inherits the property of its parent's class. But for now, put this down in your own system, you play around with it. And if you have any question, please go ahead and use the question and the answer section. And I'm going to get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much, and I'm going to see you in the next video lecture.